And spawning over in the northeastern side, representing Basilisk Gaming, it is Trigger. You can see that he's looking quite focused, but still, it resonates a little bit that he is a little bit of a nervy boy over there.
Yes, it certainly does. Oh, this is cool. Okay, as soon as Torches was picked, I was wondering if we were going to see something a little bit weird, maybe using those minerals. Shin mining out the minerals towards the gold, taking it on his opponent's side. This has a lot of potential here. He, of course, can mine from that gold base. It's going to power up any early game builds. And then if he builds transfers drones over there, they're going to have a very short trip to mining out the back. This is already something that is going to put Trigger to the test in a big way. Trigger does, of course, see this very early on, but there is going to be a, one, identification of what's going on, and two, what do you do about it?
That's the big thing, because I love it when the more experienced players go up against the less ones, and they throw them off straight away. It's wonderful to see, because right now, Trigger, I know him as a guy, he loves to do what he does, and right now...
Oh! That was such a cool idea. I saw it, oh man. That would have been so sick if he got that block.
It would have. You can see Trigger just in the body language there. He was kind of like, oh, damn, that didn't work out for me at all, did it? And right now, you've even got one drone moving a little bit more further forward. And I like the fact that he's going for that as well, trying to open up the hole earlier. So not super greedy, but just making your options available early on. This is cool because obviously a range unit later on could stop the drones from gathering all entirely. And this is going to be a very boosted Zerg economy early on.
It is, and this is a little bit awkward right now for Trigger because you have to respect it, but he's not really doing anything. He hasn't put a pylon in vision there. He doesn't have a probe watching that position. Of course, Shin has vision that there's nothing at those minerals. It could be more than just a single pathway that's open. We could see a 2 or 3 gap wall opened up and maybe a Roach Ravager play, Roach Queen. There's a lot of options right now, and I really like what you pointed out. The earlier you get those minerals open, the more of a problem it's going to be. But we do have the first Adept shading forward. The gold base is very far flung. This could be tricky to deal with.
Actually, did he even get to open up the whole wall on the minimap? It's a little bit tricky to see there, but let's see. Okay, so it's not fully open yet, just one little gap done. And I mean, that can affect your opponent's pathing for how they move their units and being like, oh yeah, it's not mined out yet, right? But Trigger has no vision over there. These two Adepts in a nice spot here to stop any kind of drones moving through, good scouting as well.
This is going to be potentially very dangerous for Shin. We do see a nice little trap on the first Adept. Oh, big surround. That did not look like a surround at all. Huge little find right there. Two drones do go down, but that is, honestly, considering the threat of a potential Ling run by, that is a big loss for Trigger. He does have a worker lead right now, but we got to remember there's a gold base. Oh, the Spore is not in time at the gold base, though.
This is all going very well for Trigger, actually. Like, 2 Adepts for 2 drones may not sound the best, but the lack of mining time as well, the Oracle follow-up, and now you've got a 38 probe to 25 drone. Shin is committed to going all in at this point. Like,
yeah.
And that's what we see exactly. And he's going to have multiple avenues to get in here. That drone is getting through. And what will Trigger have available to deal with this?
Well, the big problem right now is that there's a creep highway towards this. There's nothing in the main base. Trigger did not respond to this at all. This is why I didn't like the loss of those 2 Adepts. There is just nothing to defend right now on the main base. This is disastrous for Trigger, and this was such a cool prep build from Shin. Oh, we do see the energy recharge. Is that going to be enough to kill one of these queens? Yes. Oh, and he saves the Oracle. Is there more queens behind this? If it's only 2, okay, there's the 3rd queen showing up.
Ah, that last Oracle there. No shield battery here either, so once those Oracles are out of energy, these units are going to start flopping about, and no mining in the main. There's just more Lings coming, and even an aggressive Spore Crawler coming down.
Spore.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, the Queen count's low right now. The drone count's still very low, but the amount of damage being done here is huge.
It is very big, but this, I did not think there was any way that this could be defended. One of the Oracles is out of energy. Shin should absolutely be targeting down the Nexus. If he gets this, this is still incredibly successful for him, and he can start droning out of it. He's continuing to build Lings at the moment. He is continuing to commit. I do want to say, if Shin had waited for all 3 queens, this game is over. 100%. There's no way Trigger defends without a shield battery. But with the 3rd queen lagging behind a little bit, being off creep, No transfuses available. Things got a little awkward. Ooh. We do see energy recharge used. One of the queens goes down, but there is still that spore. This is not over just yet. Oh, and the wraparound on the adepts right there. That's going to kill both of them. Oh, no. Nope, never mind. Shield battery does get the save.
I tell you what. This has been actually a really decent attempt at Trigger, like getting that third base up and running. All of a sudden, his economy, he's back to mining full potential here. This adept count's getting higher as well. And that energy recharge used on an Oracle just to make sure he has more to deal with these Lings. I think Trigger's going to do this.
I want to know how many queens Shin has right now, because that is really what has kept Trigger in this game, is the fact that the queen count kept getting whittled down. And Shin has not been able to get enough anti-air here. He does move the Spore forward, but these Spores are going to get, or the Oracles are going to get a lot of damage. They target down the Spore itself. Second Spore showing up. Trigger, does he have energy recharge? No, there goes the first Oracle. Of course, he cannot build anymore. That Stargate has been depowered in the main base. No more energy. He's using the energy on the energy recharge again. I think it might have been better to use it on the shield battery there. It is going to be a stasis trap. This still looks like Shin could do it just here and now.
Using it on that Oracle over there really didn't get anything done. All it could do was put down a stasis trap, which gets one Ling. I mean, it is doing a good job of blocking on that right side, but the adept count too low, and there's like maybe one or two adepts in the back there. Queen arrives from the left side all the way across the map, and the Zerg is here, the Swarm is here, and Trigger, with a heart rate still at only 99, he's looking for a little bit of an exit out of this game, and Shin, I tell you what, that was a nice prep strat from him.
Very cool prep strat. That queen took the longest route of all time, and it can't even get in is the funny part. But we do still see Shin. Actually, no, Shin is going to stop on this. He's going to start droning out of this. If Trigger holds the Nexus, holds all this production, this is the final stand for Trigger, but he is actually going to make this stand happen. Queen going to go down now. I mean, the worker count is terrible for Trigger, but I really thought he was going to be dead at this point.
He's doing a good job trying to hold. It's just, now that Shin sees this base fully mining, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? By the way, going for the Adept Glaives, I like the choice, but that means that he needs to win this game on a counter push very urgently. And I mean, he does have a good little group of units available. There's a lot of creep to walk on by. But that Roach Warren will definitely signal trouble. Can't fight there with the Lings, or can he?
There was a... it looked like they might have had a wall there, but there was a gap, and the Lings get the wraparound. I was right there with you. That looked like a good position for Trigger. But the Adept was just a little bit too skinny. Got that Weight Watchers diff. And unfortunately, that is going to be a huge loss in those Adepts. And now I think that might be the last extinguishing of the little bit of hope for Trigger there. With 10, 12 Adepts between far-flung bases, maybe he can rebuild his probe count, maybe he can kill 10, 15, 20 drones at the gold, and then we can maybe reset. But now the Roach Warren is done. Shin is building roaches. He's way up in economy and supply. And Trigger is trying to clear creep off of his natural Nexus with his main Nexus dead.
And I think the Adept Glaives has already been shown as well. So he knows what he's up against, and Shin, he just has map control at this point, and these Lings can be here, there, everywhere, threatening the economy. This could be, when you see that amount of units there and the gold base being mined out, at least the gold's being mined out. So technically, if this game does go on, which I don't think it will, it is potentially going to be like two very fresh base situation, but more queens coming as well.
That's the backbreaker right there. I do like the force field on this little position, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I would love to see Shin at this point like mine out more patches. But regardless, he's through. He's got the Ravagers to break those force fields. He's going to be able to bile down shield batteries and even getting that stasis trappy. Trigger has the Glaive Adepts, but they are going to get surrounded. They're going to get, well, sentries get biled down. And this is just looking like it is too little too late, a day late and a dollar short.
This is brutal, man, brutal. It's just way too much Zerg at this point, and you could really tell, GG, Shin takes the first game. That game, I was so surprised about Trigger's lack of knowing what was happening with that golden wall. I was so surprised, like not having a pylon there, not having a unit there, just being totally unaware of the potential. And like you mentioned how the hatchery is built on the aggressive side towards your opponent. To me, I scout that and I'm like, okay, why would you do that? Like, it has to be for having a rocket jump to get to your opponent faster. So the fact that Trigger just didn't at all think about that. Or if he did think about it, he thought he'd be able to hold anyway. But yeah, that was a bit of a blunder in my eyes.
I think so, but on the other side, we got to give a huge bit of credit to Shin for coming with an immaculately prepared build. That is the kind of build that you save for a world championship right there. That is the kind of build that once it gets scouted, I'm not going to say it's completely unviable because you still got an early gold base, but there are ways to deal with it. Even for example, just looking at Trigger pylon blocking. If he successfully pylon blocks those drones out, this game goes on down a completely different path, and it's going to be very, very uncomfortable for Shin at the best. But I do have to agree with you a little bit. That is something that I think if Trigger gets to even 5 minutes to think about that, it's a very, very different game.
It definitely is. And right now, Trigger just hasn't been able to play his game in any one of these series so far, which is unfortunate for him. But you can definitely see that he looks a little bit troubled there. Like, it's not a comfortable young man sitting there and just being like, you know what, I'm going to play some StarCraft. He looks very flustered, a bit frustrated as well. And hopefully he can just kind of, and I keep saying this, reel it in, reel it in. He is a young lad, but he's got experience now. He's been in situations before where it's 0-1 down, 0-2 down. Every new game is a clean slate for you to show what you're made of.
Yeah, but it is very difficult to keep that in mind when you're on the stage, when you know, if I'm down 1-0, this is my last chance. Like if I lose 2 more maps, I'm out. Instead of thinking, you know what? If I win 3 maps, I'm through. I play the map in front of me. I think that's the best advice you can give to someone. As we have spawning in here on Maganatha, up in the top left for Weibo Gaming. A brilliant strategy in game number 1. Can he pull it out again? It is Shin.
And spawning over in the bottom right, representing Basilisk, it is Trigger. A nice arm sleeve there because he's using a glass mouse pad, I do believe, which limits the friction entirely. So kind of cool to see all these gamers with very, very different gear setups and such. You don't see it a lot in StarCraft just because players are so used to playing with what they have. Oh, that is a bit of trickery going on there, but Shin gets away with it.
Yes, and this is something that Dark used to do all the time. He would love doing these, Cats would love doing these proxy hatch builds. Sometimes you go for a hatch first. Sometimes you fake taking the 3rd base. You just get your own hatch. Good job from Trigger here. He is going to get on top of this. Oh, but you got to be so careful. You do need either a second probe or you need to make sure your units are on move command so that the drone, when it's attacked, does not get the distance between this. And that is a great job from Trigger. He avoids having a hatchery drop down in his natural. That would have been disastrous for him. Already down 1-0, but everything he's doing all the little things right. Make sure the drone can't even gas steal here. Excellent small little moves to make sure this doesn't turn into a very awkward and unpleasant game for Trigger.
And now the Zerg gets the revenge of doing the cheeky mineral tricks here to the opponent. And yeah, I like that Shin is going for the uncomfortable kind of openings, right? Like it's a little bit off. It's not something you see every day. But this time, Trigger did respond very well. Doesn't get the assimilator taken in the main base either. Move the probe over to block, making sure the extractor couldn't be made. Nice start for Trigger.
Yep, absolutely. And we have to mention, of course, that Shin, because he sent that drone across the map, his hatchery was not as quick as normal, which means that your queens aren't as quick as normal. He is doing something very interesting right now, building 8 lings, banking up some larvae right there. So one tricky play into another in game 2. First one in game 2 doesn't work out, he does another one. And this is going to be I think he's going to try and sneak across the map with maybe 6 lings. That could be very problematic for Trigger if he moves out with his first 2 units, which, he chronoed his 2nd adept, correct? Can we take a look at that gateway real quick?
It's building pretty fast. So we'll have 2 adepts to deal with this, and these lings won't have speed for quite some time. 3rd hatchery does begin for Shin, so getting to see 1 adept chasing those 2 lings, being quite respectful here, having the other adept.
He shaded away. The 6 lings are going to get in. This is going to be very uncomfortable.
This is very uncomfortable. Trigger's just so all about being on the map. And sometimes you got to know when to not be on the map. And this may not look too bad right now because the trigger did pull immediately. But still, this is quite a bit of lost mining time and not being on the other side of the map. That's not where Trigger wants to be.
And that was a miss micro right there from Trigger. He stopped moving the probe. Shin didn't think that was going to happen. Well, how many more probes go down? Does he get that one? He will get 2 probes in total. Fair bit of lost mining time. Very disruptive. Is it enough? I would say that's enough to make it even. But I think with a 1-0 lead and with the kind of mental advantage, I think it's slightly better for Shin.
You know, if it was a
just pure numbers.
If it was pure numbers, I'd be okay with the Zerg's or the Protoss position right now.
Yeah.
Like you got to remember, Shin to get all this going, but it's this kind of stuff from Shin that's very awkward.
Ooh.
Like this is before the pylon got to be made here too for the little bit of a choke, and this is a potential cancel on this hatch. And where's the Oracle? I mean, another Adept is going to show up, but he needs a bit more right now. This is not what you want.
No, it's going to be enough to keep the... Oh my god, he shaded away, but he's got the Oracle coming out, number 2. That is going to be ultimately fine, but so far Shin has been doing a great job of playing the player. You mentioned Trigger really wanting to be on the map. Shin has punished that already like 3 times in this game alone. That is so impressive, the level of prep and the little things that Shin is doing. I'm very, very impressed. Now, what I will say is Shin does get supply blocked at 58. That is a pretty painful one, but he's already in a great position, eclipsing the Protoss worker count at a very early stage. Usually we look at about late 30s to 40 is when an even game when that happens. When it's this early, though, and the Zerg starts to run away with it, things can get very awkward. But going to be a big Link Flood and a +1 melee play behind this.
I like this. I like this. So far, it's just kind of counting on, you know, doing the defense with the Adepts, which is a nice move. Oracle's try and fly in from 2 different spots here. They've all taken a little bit of hull damage. Now, these Adepts, oh no.
Oh, the body block.
Yeah, that was a sick block with these Queens, and those Adepts are going to get nothing done. And when you see all those links that are made, look at Shin. He's like, you know what? I'm super safe now. 10 drones, get a lair going, get a Baneling Nest going. +1 melee, super interesting as well. He can absolutely start causing a little bit of chaos and keep Trigger on the back foot here, because the only thing he can be out on the map on at this point is those Oracles, which they have to be back home to deal with this.
Yeah, and I like that he drones as soon as the Lings were spotted. Not only did the Lings, you know, they're gonna do a little bit of kind of forcing a reaction from Trigger with the movement of the Oracles. They also, of course, killed the Adepts, so they got a decent bit of value. Shin droning very hard behind it. He's got the layer, he's got the 4th base on the way, and I think behind this, we're gonna probably be seeing Hydraling Bane out of this. Trigger, of course, going for the blink and the +1, the storm behind it. This is a standard game, quote-unquote, in terms of the direction they're going. A lot of damage on that Oracle. Trigger's got to be so careful right now. But Shin has caused a lot of chaos and a lot of disruption to all the moves Trigger wants to make. The only time that Trigger's gotten any success is those 2 drone kills on the 3rd base, really. Yeah,
I mean, probe count losses have got to be pretty minimal on Trigger's side, so the fact that he's hunkered down on this 3-base situation, 3 probes to 3 drones, is actually not bad at all. It's just, when you're in a position where you've not been allowed to move, that's uncomfortable for any Protoss, but for Trigger especially so. But Storm coming online, got Blink coming on, +1 ground weapons as well. And I think you're absolutely right. +1 melee coming on, got Hydra. It's going to be a huge Zerg army appearing in a good couple of minutes.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big economy for it, too. A lot of times we see some relatively, or not relatively, very committed attacks for this setup off, you know, 60, high 60s, maybe low 70s drone count. But on 78 drones, adding even a few more, you can really pump a lot of Hydraling Bane, and it is very scary to deal with. Now, do we have an Overseer done on the map somewhere? I just want to see if that's the case. For now, of course, we do see a little engagement coming through. Good blink micro here from Trigger. And that is going to be a nice little small trade for Trigger. But is there an opportunity to contaminate the... Okay, I think he might have made a play at contaminating that Psionic Storm, but it was denied. Very, very hunkering down heavy tech play off 3 bases before that 4th Nexus comes down from Trigger.
It really is, and it's a lot of tech as well. And the Fleet Beacon as well, is that going to be for Tempest to deal with this? You got drop Overlords on the way. You did get the Overlord speed as well. Well, I mean, Trigger knows something's coming, and I think he has a good idea of what's going to come. it's just even so. The knowing is one part. Actually dealing with what's going to happen, that's a rough one.
This is such a great way to play. This is so, so cool. Oh, and the fact that the mothership's being built off the main nexus, while on paper it should be very safe, could end up being a huge liability. By the way, we do have cannons coming down. I thought that might have been all at the front line at the third base. That's to deal with a potential muta switch. And that is the power of Shin's preparation. And the way he plays as a player, you have to respect it as Trigger. He hasn't been able to get the scouting with hallucinations, but the scouting with revelations that he's maybe wanted. So this is really made Trigger terrified, and if we look at the supplies right now, this is a very fighty, powerful army from Shin. Trigger, he's going to have a lot of defensive power, but he is going to have some very cost-efficient defenses. Here comes the drop into the main base. The cannon is going to be helpful. It is not going to stop it, though. Baneling's rolling into the third base. This is going to be a lot of dead probes. Trigger is in so much trouble.
There are attacks going on here, there, and everywhere. The main base being taken out as well. Is this going to be before the mothership can get out?
Mothership?
I think it is. It's going to be before the mothership can get out as well. That is absolutely brutal. There is a carrier alive, though.
It's done. He gets it down. Oh, my God.
And now, he might have one storm available there, but even so, this is Shin coming in here, still on 80 drones behind this. High Templar's R-Snipe, still one is available, but this army got absolutely massacred, and where all those photon cannons are at that fourth base of his, it was almost totally ignored at this point, and rightly so. It was the most defended area, went everywhere else, and Shin, he's not going to slow down, even going for a Spire behind this as well.
Yeah, that's going to be to deal with any potential Tempest. We see the natural expansion, gateways being depowered, cybernetics core being depowered. Mothership has no chance of popping out here at this base. Trigger has to be feeling just desperate at this point. He is now down to 2-0. GG is called. Very well done from Shin. Oh, man. After game one goes the way that it does, game two, I think that's even worse for how Trigger must be feeling right now.
It is. Like, if I was a coach in his corner right now, I'd be like, okay, there's going to be weird stuff going to happen, okay? It's going to be stuff that you're not super used to, because this guy, he's in your head right now. He wants to throw you off. So when you feel that it's a good time to move out with those few units that you have to be expecting a second wave to come, because that's what he's all about right now. So just be a little bit careful. I know, like, there are players that really live and die by the best defense is good offense, which it really feels that Trigger is trying to do here with a few units on the map. But Shinny's just like, oh, you're going to be aggressive? Well, my units move really damn quickly, and I'm going to be in your face, so that's not even going to be part of it. And he's absolutely finding a kink in the armor right now, where it's just he's able to exploit weaknesses that Trigger maybe didn't even know he had.
Yeah, this feels like we're watching a prize fighter, a boxer, going up against someone that knows every pressure point and is just jabbing in. And, you know, Trigger goes for a small little jab, and Shin hits him in the elbow, and his arm just kind of collapses and flops on his side. Like, that happened about 8 times in that game. The Overlord drops were brilliant from Shin. Without that, I actually think Trigger's totally fine. He's got Storm, he's got a bunch of cannons, batteries, he's teching up towards the mothership, but as soon as that happened, Trigger panics, he sends his army back into the main base, High Templar gets surrounded in the middle as well as those Blink Stalkers, the cannons are abandoned, the probes are abandoned, the mothership gets denied at 95+%. If that pops out, you can cloak the main base, you can save it. That is so close to just not happening at all the way that it did. But Shin was so well, he just executed everything so well, and he just read his opponent like a damn book.
Yeah, I'm actually, when I've thought of Shin before, I've always known him as a very good mechanical player, but the way that he's gone into this series, I've enjoyed how he's really thought about it as well. You saw it from Maru, how he went into his series with Trigger, and it was a lot of, I'm going to try and mind game you and throw you off, and Shin's doing exactly the same. And here, getting into Incorporeal, spawning over in the top left-hand side for Weeboo Gaming, it is Shin.
And his opponent spawning down in the bottom right. My countryman, he needs your energy for Basilisk Gaming. It is Trigger.
The last Canadian standing. The one-man army. And I tell you what, he's got no lifelines left. He is 0-2 down against a raging bull on the other side of the map.
Absolutely. Now, we do have to say that the way that the games have been played have not been straight standard, you know?
No, not at all.
If Trigger gets his game plan, gets up to that Blink Storm, gets that 4th base, adds on those Tempests, you gotta think about it in, okay, I got caught off guard a bunch of times, but I can beat this guy. You gotta tell yourself, I'm better than this guy. It might not even be true necessarily, but you gotta tell yourself, you gotta stay in the game mentally. And that is gonna be maybe the hardest part of this in this game 3 for Trigger.
Well, it's about respecting your opponent, not fearing your opponent.
Exactly.
And like a lot of this stuff where you're getting caught off guard time and time again, it's just not a lot of players will do this against you. Like when players practice, it's like you do the kind of orthodox standard kind of stuff. And right now, the way that Shin's been playing, it is very, I want to say counterintuitive. Like the idea of it, if your opponent's back at home with adepts, those lings on the map, it's just, those could have been drones. And it's like, you know, but the way that he's playing, it's just uncomfortable. So everything that Trigger's practiced up to this point, a lot of it, he has to kind of throw it out the window a little bit and just be like, all right, this guy is, he's a bit nutty. He's doing things that I don't like. I have to be either a bit more safe or a bit more crazy. And that's a tough thing to think about on the spot because maybe you haven't practiced that.
Absolutely. It's 100% Shin playing the player.
This is the most normal opening so far, by the way.
Yeah. By far. We do see, of course, the pylon getting dropped down. Trigger was hoping Shin only built the 2 drones, or the 2 lings, so he could get a denial on that base. Not going to be the case. We do see Shin building more than just the normal amount of lings to deal with this, though. It may once again be an attempt to find a pressure point on Trigger's behavior with a potential counterattack. This adept does get into the main base, but not going to be able to get a drone so far. That's a lot of lost mining time, though. He just pulled the entire mineral line. Wow, okay, that is a lot of damage indirectly.
But that has to signal to Trigger, like, hey, hold on a minute. You killed that pylon with 4 lings. There was 2 there at the back of that base. Where are the other bad boys? And here they are at the natural. And it was a bit of a late reaction, but it's still going to be enough to get away. Second adept is out. This was actually very fortunate for Trigger, but also just in time. That was clutch.
That was incredibly close and incredibly clutch. Shin was so close to getting a wraparound on that with the slow lings. The 3rd adept could have very easily... Is that the 3rd adept. The 3rd adept could have very easily been cut there. Obviously, we did not see that from Trigger, so that helps him a lot. Only 1 probe going down, not the worst thing in the world. Minimal amounts of lost mining time.
But look at this. So if Trigger's learned anything from that previous game, don't move out with those adepts. And right now he's being safe with them. This is really good. Because right now, one of the things you want to do is move out. He actually looks like he wants to take a 3rd base, which has been delayed. But already you can feel that Shin, he's coming out with these kind of funky little timings with these Zerglings, and it is doing work. But Trigger, this game, not falling apart just yet. And actually getting that 3rd base down, not too delayed. Drone count, probe count, pretty good as well. Oracle's able to get a little bit of damage on the other side, and those Zerglings, they haven't got the work done that they wanted.
No, but they've still been a little bit annoying. Like you said, they did delay that 3rd base. It wasn't as big a commitment as the previous game, but I mean, it's all been realistically different. But it's still the best game we've seen from Trigger so far. And I do want to point out another adjustment that he made. In addition, he added that sentry very early on. He has not been scouting as much as I think he's needed to in this series, but those hallucinations that are going to be enabled off of this are going to be very good. Nice little damage here from Trigger, able to find 3 drones. I still think Shin right now is a little bit ahead going into the mid game, maybe even more than a little bit, but it is still probably, no, this is definitely the best position Trigger has been in this series.
Oh, charge first as well. Is it going to be Trigger?
Oh,
doing something a little bit fancy afterwards? I mean,
yeah, no gases at the natural.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like this is going to be a lot of units out for Trigger. And you know what? I think he's done with being bullied on the playground by the big lad. He is about to try and land a big punch in his face. And +1 melee against +1 ground. I always like the way that Zealots will eventually two-shot Lings once that upgrade is completed. And Banelings, they are going to be a good counter to that number of Zealots on the field, but does Shin know what's coming? Because Trigger, he's more of a predictable player, but seeing that all in the main, you can be like, oh, it's going to be the same as the previous game, right? It's going to be like Blink Stalkers and what have you. No, absolutely not in game number 3.
And I love what Trigger's done here because, like you said, he is a Blinky boy. He plays Blink almost exclusively. He is very known for that. But coming in here with this charge play is going to be a very powerful move. Roaches not in the game plan for Shin. Like you said, he's going to be relying on those Banelings for the defense, and they can be very effective, but they can also backfire in a big way. Now, it's going to be up to Trigger to make sure that those splits on the Zealots are good. I was talking about hallucinations. He's actually going to be saving the energy for force fields, which can be very good actually against this. Counterattack coming in could be quite a problem. Will be Zealots warped in defensively. Charge does get shown, but we do see this army showing up on the right side. Baneling's just starting to morph in. No defensive safety Banes before this. Can Trigger just get through?
Can he get through indeed? I mean, this is a lot of investment into economy and things that aren't yet alive here. That's a lot of Zealots. Big stasis traps here to stop a lot of those Lings with +1. But the Baneling's starting to get the little roll-ins here, and remember, they can do a lot of damage to these Zealots. They're all clumped up with the force fields, keeping those alive for as long as possible. Where is the next wave from Trigger? There it is, down in the south. More Zealots coming. Those Zerglings will be free very soon, as will those drones. And will that Protoss army get cleaned up? Remember, he's got to warp in from across the map to reinforce here. And was the damage done that he needed? I don't think so, because next thing, Hydras weren't available that fight. Hydra's going to be a big help at dealing damage from the back line.
Yes, but we do see a continuation a little bit here. More Zealots being sent across the map. This is still a lot of Zealots. There's no Banelings morphed. This looked like it was done, but Trigger is going to commit a little bit more to this. The Oracles were killed during that attack, but Shin is still in an uncomfortable position. He did not morph any safety Banes behind this. It's going to be a lot of potential damage here. Drones are being microed away nicely. Queen did go down, but Shin will ultimately buy time for the next set of Banes. Trigger, oh, those splits this time. If he had done that the first time, this could have been so much better for him. But we are going to see is this enough Zealots? It's very close on the fight. Nice target fire on the Hydras here, but it will mean that the +1 melee Lings are able to wipe out those Zealots. There's the morph on the defensive Banes behind this in case more Zealots come in. And there are more Zealots coming. Trigger is in a position where he can still macro out of this 100%. He's actually got a worker lead, and he's getting Storm, he's getting +2. He doesn't need to keep attacking, but he might feel like he can, or maybe that he feels like he has to.
He's moved up to 6 gases now, and I mean, the worker count absolutely even, but not one of those bases, those peripheral bases, died for Shin. So he is okay economy-wise. The creep spread's pretty decent on that side of the map as well. Archons have joined the fray, and they are going to be fairly brutal. They can get countered by the Hydras, but I tell you what, so far the fight's happening, and I'm not sure if this is what Trigger wants, honestly. I mean, that Warp Prism is very exposed to these Hydras, but there's only 5 of them alive. One Archon does fall, was not picked up. More Hydras joining the field as well. And if there's one thing that Archons do not want to go up against, it's Hydras in very high numbers. And I think Shin is holding this pretty darn well. Actually, the Warp Prism also eventually going to get sniped here. Good hold by Shin.
Very good hold right there. Oh, man, I think Trigger had a small misread on this game. He is going to be able to hunt down maybe both of these Hydras. Okay, no, one of them will be saved. I think Trigger had a misread on this game. If he chills at home with Storm, with +2 weapons finishing, 6 gases, 66 probes, he can absolutely play out of this against a Hydraling Bane player. You're going to have to stay on top of your scouting, and that will be difficult. He lost those Oracles during the first push. But attacking in like that has thrown away a lot of units, and now he is going to be in a very uncomfortable position. Lings are going to try and deny this base, but Trigger does have enough Zealots here. He's still able to two-shot those Lings. It's still a position where Trigger, if he gets strong defensive fights, can potentially make something happen. Like, look at Shin's drone count. He's only on 65 drones. He's heavily committed on Hydraling Bane, but this is a big, powerful punch that is going to be coming.
Yeah, I just wanted to hint at something that you were talking about before, like Trigger, maybe to keep the foot on the gas for too long. It's just he's been forced to play a situation that maybe he didn't want to. So it's like very, very uncomfortable with that. It's a lot of Zerg. It's not quite a supply imbalance as the game before, but the amount of tech that Trigger has available here, much healthier. Those high Templars get absolutely blown up by those Banes, and already not the start he was looking for. And this choke as well, look how good it is for these Hydras here. They are in high numbers, great upgrades on them as well. Got range, speed, you name it. And here taking down the first line of defense. Even that Immortal walks forward, gets bonked and drops its Immortal shield. This is brutal here, and Shin, he can just go here, there, wherever he wants.
There is a Zealot counterattack on the other side of the map. If there was a way to defend this attack, Trigger is finding counter damage. I just don't see how he's going to do so. Immortals are low on HP. The high Templar Archives was taken down. That means no more storms. Hydras are marching forward here for Shin, and he is on his path to victory. Trigger forced to tap out. Shin advances on to the next round. Immaculate series from the South Korean Zerg.
Really cool series by Shin. Like, he played smart, mechanically, fundamentally very, very solid. And it wasn't easy to read what he was going to do. Like, Trigger was constantly in a position where he's like kind of doubting what he knows and being like, how do I adjust? How do I deal with this? And it just felt like everything went according to plan for Shin. And he got to play his game. That's so important when you go into a series like this. Making sure that you're doing the things like the very forward gold base, super cool. The second game was also a little bit weird. Third game even went for a hatch block attempt. You know, the whole thing was all about, I'm going to throw you off and not let you play what you've practiced. And that is a brutal part of StarCraft 2.
It really is. And I'm simultaneously so impressed with what Shin pulled off and so sad for Trigger at the same time, because that is not the Trigger that we know as a community. Anyone who's watched his streams, his games, we know how good he can be.
He didn't get to play his game.
He didn't get to play a single one of his games, not in the entire tournament.
But when you play in the big leagues, like this is the World Championship where everything over the whole year has been lined up for this moment, and you've got to come in ready to throw your opponent off, not just to constantly get thrown off. And I believe we will be heading to an interview with the man himself. Take it away, Ravi.